Hello, everyone. It is Friday, a beautiful day. Consistency. Consistency within you creates consistency and trust in others. Hmm, how so? Because when you are consistent, you are predictable, you are easily relied upon, you're trustworthy, you're loyal. Then that state that you live in of consistency, as within, so without. So the other people that you encounter, the other situations that you encounter, have to match you. So you, by being consistent, will help it in other people. You become reliable. You have a sense of confidence because you know that, if I say I'll be there, if I say I'll do something, I do it. I follow through. That's a great place to be in. Because now, as I say, what it does for you, as within, so without. So then you begin to encounter situations and other people who are consistent, who are loyal, who are trustworthy, who have integrity, who are reliable. That is what you do when you practice consistency. What is consistency? Doing the same thing the same way every time. That is consistency. But as you notice, it doesn't stop with you. So it goes the other way as well. If you are inconsistent, other people and other situations have to reflect because the law of correspondence says, as within, so without, as above, so below. So if you are inconsistent, you end up in situations or meeting people who are also inconsistent because, as we know, birds of a feather, it's called correspondence. So always put yourself in the state to be consistent, a lifestyle of consistency. It just takes practice and persistence because some days you may not want to be consistent. You may not feel like being consistent, but if you follow through with it, now you end up with a lifestyle and you're known as someone, not just by other people, but you're known to yourself as being a person of integrity. And we know what integrity is. You just do it anyway. Whether you're being applauded does not matter. You just follow through. But you see, sometimes our old habit of inconsistency begins to rear its head. And because we don't consistently redirect ourselves to say, no, this is what I'm now. This is what I am now. You have to be consistent, or else the old habit will remain. You gotta remain consistent. If you say you are setting aside a half an hour every morning to do whatever that is, do it every morning for a half an hour. Consistency. Simply because the more consistent you become, the more ordered your life becomes. You begin to notice it becomes calmer. There's less anxiety. Why? Because it is predictable. There's something to be said about predictability. The law shows you predictability every single day. Our seasons are predictable. The phases of the moon are predictable. And heaven help us, if your cycle is unpredictable, it causes anxiety. This is why predictability, not so much just because, oh, somebody's going to know my stuff. No, it brings you peace. to remain consistent. I want you to grasp that today. It will bring you peace if you remain consistent. It's not just something that you do for giggles, but it is something that is far reaching. If you say, my bedtime is, then you go to bed every night at 10, whether it's the weekend or not. Whether it is the weekend or not. Because now it does not become, you hear the popular phrase when you're going in for a job interview. How are you with time management? You don't manage time, you manage the self. If the self is organized, time is irrelevant because you will always make your deadlines. Why? Because you know how to streamline and be consistent. This is why it happens every single time. So practicing consistency, it doesn't matter what you want to create. You can say, I want to read more books. But if you don't pick up a book and read it, a chapter or two chapters every day at the same time, are you going to finish the book? No, not always. Or the book will take you a long time to read. And then you'll say, well, I didn't read as many books as I wanted to. Be consistent in your tasks. It is, this is what discipline means. So if you are teaching your children, hey, here's the task, I'm going to give you this amount of time to get it done in, then allow them to do it in that time. If that time passes and it has not been done, a conversation needs to be had. Because you're teaching them to rely upon themselves, their consistency. You build their self-worth. You're building your own self-worth when you are consistent. Look at the all, if you will, because the all is mind. That is the first law of creation. Mentalism. The all is mind. The universe is a mental creation. See the other six? They tell you how the all functions. The all does not contradict itself. Well, how can you be certain? Because as within, so without. As it thinks, it does. If we practice that in every area of our lives. So if you say to yourself, you know what? I will only speak in this fashion. Meaning, I'm not going to dog myself. I'm not going to insult myself. I'm not going to be mean to me. It doesn't matter. I'm going to be nice. I'm going to be encouraging to myself, especially when I'm learning something new. I will only speak positive things to myself of encouragement. And so every time you catch yourself wanting to say, dumbass, every time you catch yourself wanting to say that, or however you speak to yourself in a negative way, you say, no, I said I was going to speak to myself positively. I will only edify myself. You know what? I'm learning. I'm learning. And the more I learn, the better I get because I practice what I learn. Good. See? I did that. I said that to myself. Good for me. And you go on. And when the next situation arises that challenges your new way of living, you say, no, I do it like this now. And you know what? The more I do it, it'll stick. This is good. And you go on and you speak to yourself in such a fashion. This is why when I say to be consistent, I'm not telling you to be consistent because that's your homework. I'm telling you to be consistent because it creates a lifestyle of consistency. And so it matters not whatever situation you encounter, you will be consistent in it. That is why we practice. This is why we practice. And it doesn't just stay with you. It doesn't just stay with you, it spreads. Well, as within, so without. The thought that you have and the sensation, the matching sensation in your body, don't just stay in your mind. They are projected outward. It is law. Because in order to create, you need to project a seed thought into the womb of your subconscious mind. And when you do that, the subconscious mind brings together all the things that are like it and gives it form so that it is tangible for you to interact with. That is creation. And that formula never changes. Why doesn't it ever change? Because when the all decided what creation was, it set down rules for itself to follow. The laws of creation. So it says, I think it, I do it, I am it. That's what the all does. How can I be so sure? Because those laws are there every day in our face. High tide, low tide. Rhythm. This is one of the greatest things. I know in the scripture it says to be imitators of Christ. To be an imitator. What is that? It means you observe. And if you see a behavior that you like, you adopt it for yourself because you see the evidence of it in that other person. That's why you don't just imitate any old body. Oh, I want to be like you, like Mike. If I could be like, right? Remember that song? I want to be like Mike. That song. Who do you want to be like? If you see, yes, it is ideal to always be you. But if you see a particular behavior, well, you say, well, this person's always on time. They're always early. Or this person, they don't speed. They always indicate in which direction they're going to go, left or right. And you say, I would like to be more consistent. Well, then you do what they do. Follow through. You start it, you finish. Consistency will allow other people to become consistent. It just does. As within, so without. The law just has a way. It has its way of getting you in alignment just because you follow it. Just because you make the effort to say, you know what, I'm going to watch my thoughts. I'm going to make sure that my thoughts are like this. And you pay attention to your thoughts. And the minute you start paying attention to your thoughts consistently, you begin to see certain things that perhaps you should let go of that are no longer of use to you. And you become emboldened because you know, what I'm seeing is the effect. I may not know the cause, but I don't like this effect. What effect would I like instead? You adopt the law of polarity and you say, I am here now and I want to move from here to there. And every single time, imagine if you went to the dentist and a cavity needed to be filled and he decided or she decided to do this procedure one day and the next time another way. You would not go to that dentist again, would you? Because they're unreliable. How can you trust them when they don't know what they're doing? Because that's what it looks like when you're inconsistent. Preaching to the choir this morning, don't fret. Consistency is a beautiful thing because you begin to know yourself better. You know what you are capable of, and you know what you are willing to do or not willing to do by way of consistency. If you do not like the way you are treated, you don't complain, examine the self, and you say, you know what? I'm going to raise my level. And once you raise your level, the things that were mistreating or not treating you the way you thought you should be treated will change. They don't have a choice but to change. I trust that makes sense. Let's take a moment right now to welcome the people in the room today. Twitter, Luke, Shea Butter, Queen Miranda, I see you here in Twitter. Thank you for being here on such a lovely Friday morning. Fanbase, Miss McQueen, Zola, L, Shanice, Jamea, Charles, Matthias. Hey, Coach, I see you all. And then in our YouTube space, who's here? Let's start from the bottom because these are the comments I can see. We are free. Welcome. Thank you for being here. Synovia, I see you. African Goddess, welcome to the space. I have not said your name before. The Better Man, LC, I see you. Queen Marat, I see you. Ah, we are free. Thank you very much for your generosity today. Thank you. Emanon, I see you. Wealthy Supreme, and Anot, I see you. Thank you all for being here. So you see, my friends, consistency. Think about what drives consistency. My bestie, right? I love her. She's awesome. I tell you that every day because she's a gem. She says to me, okay, Angela, I want you to do it this way. Every time you post, you're going to use a particular color. And you know, a funny thing happened. When I go through my YouTube studio and I scroll through it, everything looks the same. And I was like, I said to myself, oh, well, that's amazing. That's so nice that everything looks the same. It's quite soothing to see everything looking the same. And so I was talking to her and I said, you know what? Everything looks the same and it feels good. She's like, you call that branding? Because the consistency in the branding does what to the person looking at it? It gives them a sense of calm. It really truly does. Reliability. They can rely on me being the same. So when I say that consistency does not stay within you, it spreads. Just like that saying, misery loves company. Consistency also loves company. So when you go through your day, where can you become more consistent? Where can you put more order? You will find that if you are consistent in your actions, you will become consistent in your emotions as well. You will not be swung to and fro like a ship with no anchor. The law is an anchor. And when you're anchored, you're much more free. How does that work? You would think because you're anchored, you're stuck in that one position. No, you are free to go anywhere. If you've ever flown a kite, if you've grown up in the Caribbean and you made a kite and you flew it, tether the kite, anchor it, and you can do all sorts of things and tricks with it because it is anchored. It is free when it is anchored. Ponder that for a moment. If you did not have an anchor, you'd be tossed to and fro by every single whim there is. So when you become consistent in one area, it's not the area that's consistent, it's you who is consistent in the area. So then, when you want to do anything, you are consistent with it. You know that you can rely on yourself. You know that if you say to somebody, yes, I'll be there at dot, 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 whatever time. Yes, I will do this. Yes, I can get that done. And you do it. Now, when the outside situation comes up, when you encounter other people, the first thing they say is, oh, I can trust this person because they said it and they did it. They said it and they did it over and over again. This is why you have this. If you watch small children, at first, they don't understand when you leave to go to work. They feel abandoned because they cry. They don't discern. But when you come back, they understand. Every time you leave and they come back, you leave and you come back. It builds trust in them because they know they can rely on you. This is why consistency does not stay with just you. People say you have to teach people how to treat you. Well, how on earth would you possibly do that if you were inconsistent? If every time someone spoke in an off color way to you and you said, that is unacceptable, but I would prefer this. You don't have to say that, but it is in your actions as well. That's how you train someone in how they treat you, by you being consistent with how you deal with it. Because if you're not consistent, well, then there's no rhythm that can be formed. And if there's no rhythm that can be formed, we're living in chaos. See how we just touched on the law of rhythm? You always have the ebb and you always have a flow. Ebb and flow. You rest, you work. You rest and you work. It is the same. It is consistent. And because it is consistent, you know you can rely upon the rhythm. What if spring was in winter? What if it just showed up there? Like, wait, what? This is out of place. Elsie, training someone sounds like dogs. That's because we associate training with animals. Because, an obedient dog is a predictable dog. Hmm? An obedient horse is a predictable one. But the untrained or undisciplined person is unpredictable. Unpredictability is not only chaos, but it creates harm. If you don't know how somebody's going to respond to a situation, you're tentative. You just are. So consistency brings peace. If you watch it, if you practice it, you'll see it for yourself. Consistency brings peace. When you know what you are going to be doing, you reduce the instances of anxiety. And Lord knows there's a lot of that going on in the world at the moment. Because we don't start and finish. We start and we stop. Well, I don't feel like it. The scripture tells you, let your yes be yes and your no be no. What is that? The law of correspondence. But for so long, we've been taught to see the Bible as a big stick to beat you. But when you know the law, you begin to see it everywhere. And when you live by it, there is order. And if you order one area of your life, it is you who has become ordered. So, thus, every other area that you live and exist in will become ordered because you are ordered. The disciplined man and the disciplined woman are phenomenal. That's what it is. It is the undisciplined thing that causes harm. You must have discipline. What if your brakes work today and not tomorrow? Consistency is key. It brings you peace. What if the car started today but not tomorrow or the day after, but it starts the following day? Well, that's unpredictable. Then you'd know you've got a problem. So you see, practice being consistent. Practice being consistent. If you go to bed with a clean kitchen sink, yes, and you swept the floor, you know what you are like. Now you become reliable to you. But it's not this thing that we just, today I'll do it and tomorrow I won't. Practice becoming a consistent person, and whatever situation you encounter, you will always be consistent, because that is what you've trained yourself to be, consistent. That's truly what discipline is. So when someone says, oh, you don't know how to discipline children, wait, what? You are teaching them how to be consistent. This is why school starts the same time every day. This is why they have their breaks at the same time every day. This is the function of the human. It functions best with consistency. That's correct, Elsie. Some people see being consistent as boring. Oh, you're predictable. No, there's no boredom in that. There's many things. Consistency brings you freedom, because you know yourself, you know your limitations, and you know how to get past your limitations. So where is the boredom there? See, it is simply just a matter of comprehension. When you comprehend what consistency is and what it does for you, now you're more likely to do it, as opposed to do as I say and not as I do. No one ever learns from a tyrant, but you learn from a teacher. You learn when someone cares enough about how you experience your life. This is why when you teach your children, hey, we're going to do it like this. And you teach them, you explain to them why you're doing it. When they get to that age that they can actually understand what you're saying. Even in daycare, they have the cleanup song. Clean up, everybody do your share. That's the song they sing. So all these little tiny kids are singing this song, and they're tidying up. But they don't understand why they do it. Now when they become of a certain age where they can comprehend the action, you explain it. So that when they go back and they do it with a sense of awareness of themselves and what they're doing. This is why consistency is important for progress. This is why. Because it is the design of the human. But if you think about it, your work day, Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. That's consistent, right? But that's consistent for somebody else. If you can be consistent there, you can be consistent in any area of your life, because the same rules apply. Same day, same time, same duration. I said it, and you just thought of Batman. Same time, same Bat channel. Right? This is this is where it comes to be so important that we do it. And it's just once you are consistent with one thing, you've just proven to yourself, I can be consistent in all things, because I am consistent, not the situation. So that plays also a very large role in consciously manifesting something in your life. If you are supposed to consistently hold yourself in a polarized area, and you don't do it because it's taking too long. I see it all the time. I've tried this, I've tried that, and I'm giving up. That tells me a lot about you. It tells me a lot about me. So when you learn to be consistent, polarity, rhythm, vibration, you begin to become consistent in all of those laws, and your life has no choice but to change. There you have it. Synovia says, when consistency brings boredom, let whatever is going on in your mind alone and find your passion. Only will you love being consistent. No truer words have been said. Because you see, it is the love of a thing. It is the love that allows us to be consistent and persistent. When you love you, what is self-love? Being consistent. If you say my bedtime is this, I get up at this time, you know you get enough sleep in there. That is care for the body. Consistency is making your life flow with ease so that you don't have to deal with anxiety. That is self-love. Not just hugging yourself and buying yourself chocolate and soaking in the tub and getting your nails done. That's self-care. But self-love, love, being in order is love, unconditional love. Because it is what the all does. It thinks and it does what it thinks. Every single time. It does not deviate from that. It doesn't deviate. So then, to imitate that, you think it, do it. Every time. Every single time. And you'll begin to recognize that you don't allow somebody to come along and because you're feeling good. And it doesn't mean that you're always smiling or you're always happy. There's an inner state of peace that consistency brings you. And so when you walk with that inner peace, you don't have to say, I want. You say, I create. But if you don't consistently practice, how can you create? Then you become frustrated with creation itself, and you think that it is a ploy, and you think that it is something unattainable. When in actuality, you are creating every single day. Consistency helps in a myriad of ways. And the only thing required is practice. Oh, Sonia, you make me want to sing it. And at our graduation in primary school, we played that song, and I had the cymbals. And every time that came along, I would crash the cymbals. Fond memories. You see what happens to us? A memory arises, and you get a sensation in your body. The sensation that I just felt was one of nostalgia. I said, oh, wow, that took me back to my little bow-legged days in my uniform in choir. And I always felt so good in choir. Always. So if a time comes in your day where you feel kind of blah, you feel kind of wound up, get a memory. Get a memory because you have them stored in your body that makes you feel the way you would prefer to feel. And if you do it consistently, you will find that you are not at the whim of random thoughts of other people to stir up your emotions and polarize you. And that's why I tell you, practice bringing up the sensation of something, a memory that feels good. And if you do not have a memory, then there are vicarious memories that you can choose from. That just made me feel so good to remember that fond memory of my childhood. And so now anytime I want ease, I can remember a Sonia and morning has broken, that song. And I can be at peace. You see, being consistent, I will harp on it until you practice. Because it is not it's not what you hear, it's how many times you hear it. And somewhere, because I hear, Angela, I was going to do something and I heard your voice. I heard your voice in the back of my head and I did it. If nothing else, allow the law to permeate every facet of your being so that when you go to act, when you think, you say, oh, where's the law here? You consistently do that, as I said, you will line yourself up and your life will become something absolutely beautiful and amazing. No more will you be tossed to and fro like a log in the ocean, bashing up against the rocks. You know exactly what I'm talking about. But you'll be tethered by the law. You'll be anchored by the law so that you are free to be. That is what consistency will do within you when you become consistent. And the great news is the more you practice, the better you get at being consistent. And when you recognize how beautiful your life is because of consistency, you see the love that wells up in you and says, I like this life, so I shall continue with consistency. And whatever you touch must fall under the law of consistency, which is correspondence. Doesn't matter, wherever you go, order will follow you, not chaos. Why? Because you live a life of order. Your lifestyle is ordered. And we think it's just about manifestation. You don't ever have to fret about, oh shoot, I need a new thing. You just do it. Because you won't ask questions anymore. Well, can I just sit on my couch and play in my imagination and it will show up at my door? I've tried this and I feel like I'm going crazy. The law doesn't work. You know why? Because there's no consistency of practice. That's why it appears as if it doesn't work in your life. But we don't want to put in the work of consistency. But if you put in the work of consistency, what work are you doing? Starting and finishing. Oh, the horror. So much work. So the perception, change your perception of it. Is consistency work? Or is it a way to be free? I'm going to leave you with that. Because it is Friday. And I know we want to get the party started. Well, the party already did start for me. So this is what I will say to you today. Remember always to practice being consistent in whatever activity you do. And your life will change in a most beautiful way. And it will be a life that you create that you don't need to escape from. You'll want to live. I'm just saying, that's how consistency works. The all is consistent. So let us be consistent as well. Countdown initiated. 5, 4. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. 3, 2. And remember, for the 2190 people, remember to pop over into WhatsApp for your morning message. It's just like a minute long. And if you have questions, you can send those questions there and I will record an answer for you, because we all know the practice of consistency. Sometimes we need extra encouragement. So I see you all. 2. Hey, Meep. Baby, you'll have to catch the replay. 1. Go forth and practice being consistent. And watch your life transform itself right before your eyes. You want inner peace? Be consistent. Yes! Elsie, that is, you see, the vicarious feeling and that sensation in your body? Here's what she says. She says she believes in the fairy scene in the Peter Pan movie. It's a very happy anticipation sort of feeling. So you see, I told you, it matters not where you find your sensation of anticipation. Find it and be consistent in bringing it up and holding it and letting it go. Bring it up, hold it, let it go. Because the more you do that, now you begin to live that life. Because even though it feels like anticipation, it's actually inner peace. It's inner peace that you're creating. And Lord knows we want that, don't we? to get up in the morning without a care in the world. Oh, but Angela, now you're just living fantasy. Am I? Really? So you want to get up every day and fret? Because that's more realistic? Ponder that for a moment. Anywho, I love you all, and I thank you for being here on such a lovely day. I just scrolled up and I saw you, Yolanda. um, I love you all. And Twitter, because you're always the first one. I love you, Twitter. Thank you all for being here and sharing your time and love with me. I'ma catch y'all's Monday at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard. Twitter is closed. Fanbase, I see you. Oh, look, I have a free hand. Thank you all for being here, my Melanin, Matthias, Coach, Summer Rose, Yolanda, Jamea, Shanice L, Zola, and Miss McQueen. Thank you all for being here in the fanbase world. I do appreciate you. Much love. And the fanbase is closed. YouTube, just you and I. I love you. I really do. It's Friday, and not that it means anything, as I'm still working. I still got to do this book, but um, it's a great day. It really is. You know, I just want to make sure I didn't miss any of your comments. Yes, Synovia. Without consistency, it's quite like a typhoon, isn't it? It's unpredictable. But the funny thing is about typhoons and hurricanes, they always start in the same place, don't they? And they usually have the same path. Even though the typhoon may be chaotic in its action, it is quite ordered. It is beautiful when you think about it. We are free, yes. You know, that's what I say. What am I going to encounter today with that energy that we've got going on in this space? I'm just getting into the lotus position here. There, like a pretzel. Yes, flow with ease, freely by way of the law, every time. Every time. I'll put this one up again to remind us to like, share, and subscribe so that other people can come across this video so that they can learn what we're learning and grow. Because if you think about it, if we get 30 people and they're all disciplined, consistent, you know what we can do with that? My word. And if you think about it, when you discipline yourself, when you become consistent for yourself, there's no resentment in there. But when you recognize, you slap your alarm, you're like, ugh, you don't want to get out of bed because you don't want to go to work. You're like, ugh. That has a level of resentment in it. Oh, why must I? Really? I have to go again? But if, that's what my grandfather taught me, it's never the job. It is the mind of the person doing the job. If you use your job as a way to practice being consistent, your attitude at work will change in spite of the boss or supervisor. It will change. And when the attitude change because you're using your Monday through Friday to discipline yourself in being consistent, when your attitude changes, so will theirs. Because you're not fighting and arguing because you're there. Remember, the inner conversation is always at the utmost of importance. The way you speak, just, oh man, I gotta go do this again today. Same shit, different day. You know what I'm saying? But if you say, you know what, I'm gonna use my 9 to 5 and become more consistent, and it will change your inner attitude. It relieves a lot of resentment and a lot of the burden because now you're not there for them, you're there for you. But they just get to benefit. And next thing you know, somebody got a raise, somebody got a promotion. Yeah, you. Because you changed your attitude about why you are being consistent. These are simple things that if we do them, will change our lives. We will. I'm just reading your comment here, the better man. You're anxious to hear my morning inspiration. I trust that you're at ease now. But no, I get it. And again, we are free. Thank you for your generosity today. It is truly appreciated. Let me scroll all the way. Ah, Ty's tidbits. Yes, Anovia. Thank you. It is, I marvel at the law every single day, because when I look back, I say, oh my word, look at how far I've come. When you begin to realize that using the laws open you up, you have hidden things within you that you don't know that are there. The only way to find them is to remove the chaos, which is the disorder, the lack of consistency. Become consistent, and you will begin to open up other areas of your life that you don't know that are there. And when I tell you, we keep talking about, oh, I want to have a Kundalini experience. Shoot, if you're not disciplined, a Kundalini experience will mess you up. Oh, I want to go do ayahuasca. Be disciplined. Have consistency, because then you'll know what to do with those situations. You see, as I said before, consistency spreads through every facet of your life. It truly does. Be consistent. Be consistent. Hey, ray of sunshine. Thank you for that. I'm picking up what you're laying down. I've been consistent with these inspirations in the AM. Yes. And because I do this consistently, I now tell myself, well, look, I'm consistent there. Let me be consistent here. It's not the situation, it's the person. And so, yes, ray of sunshine, you're correct. You're there not because of them, you're there because of you. And whatever love it is that you have within you for becoming consistent will spread. Yes, ray of sunshine, you enjoy the beautiful day as well. So you see, go forth today and find one area in your life that you would like to be consistent in, and start. Start. That's it. And create a lifestyle. We all know about that now, don't we, 2190? Let's do that. I know I saw Emanon because I said his name. Ah, good morning, Ms. M. I see you. But yes, that's all I wanted to say to you today. And if you have that link for WhatsApp, it doesn't matter what time of day you pop in. If you have a question, use the link, pop in there, and I'll see it because I'll get the notification and I'll respond. Because 2190 is really important that we follow through with this. Oh, what's that word? Oh, consistency. Yes. Right? Thank you all for being here on such a lovely day. I appreciate every single one of you. You're so generous with your time, and you're so generous with your donations. I thank you, and I appreciate you. I'll be doing a post or a live stream for members only because I'm testing it out, because YouTube says, hey, you have 8 members now. Test it out and do something just for them. So watch for that, you members on YouTube. So you see, this is exciting. I'm growing and learning right along with you. And let's share in this beauty together. Ah, now Sonia, because you already communicate with me on um, WhatsApp, I'll add you to the 2190 group. I'll do that. So watch for that. Yeah, because you'll see it pop up when I add you to it. Yeah. So if there aren't any more questions, thank you so very much for being here and sharing your time, efforts, and energy with me. Is it too late to join the No Ties Tidbits? If you are a member on either YouTube or Patreon or Fanbase, um, those guys get in because it's part of their perks as being, members. It is $36 to attend it if you want to. Drop me a note. Wait. Um, I do have one moderator. I'm looking for another moderator, people. Help me out. Um, so that I'm just trying to type with one hand my email address. Positively Angela at shaw.ca. Eminon, you have a question? I'll pin this so you see it. Yeah, but it's not too late to join 2190. Not at all. It just popped my ears. That feels great. Yeah. So you can always email me if you have questions. And the testimonial video is you still have the link for it in um your Insta. No, a moderator for my live streams that we're in right now. You still have the link. It is unlisted. That's why you don't see it, because it's unlisted. It's only for those people who are in the 2190. So you have the link already, Queen Marat. So every time you click on the link, you'll access it because you have the link. So it's not unlisted for you. Oh, really? Okay. Um, I will go into my thingy and I'll add you as a moderator, Emanon. Yay! Now I have one male and one female. Thank you. Yes, exactly. Thanks, Ms. M. Yeah, thank you, because that's what I was looking for. You know, just someone to make sure, like, especially if, because for me, because I'm speaking, I don't always get to see all the comments right away. And so that's why I make it a habit to scroll backwards and forwards so I um, catch them all. But if a moderator sees it, then you can say something to me to bring it. Um, okay, thanks for telling me. I'll send that to you when I have my phone in my hand, and I'll give you the link again, Queen Marat, so that you can access it. Access the 2190 replay. Yes. And I'll also post it in the WhatsApp. I'll post it there too. Yeah, thank you. That was a brilliant idea. Thanks, Queen Marat. Well, you're welcome, Emanon. Yeah. So if there aren't any more questions, I like that you guys are so interactive here. It's brilliant. And I don't know when the next testimonial will be just yet. Um, I suppose I just have to pick a day and just make the schedule for it so that I know when it's coming up. But yes, thank you. Yes, again, thank you so very much. Yeah. And remember, nighttime guided meditation at 10:30 p.m. Eastern. I always post it as a premiere so that we can all partake in it. Um, and again, my email is there if you have any questions. Oh, Cyber. That's cute. Well, I'll stop then so you can start the replay. All right, everybody. The replay gang. I think I might use that as a hashtag, the replay gang. I love you guys. You bring such joy. Thank you all again. Much love, my beautiful friends. And remember, be consistent. Start and finish. Much love.